Hey, peace, everybody. This your girl Tiffany here live in effect. So today I am here because I want to talk to the Moorish community. And I have some questions for the Moors regarding to this book right here, which is the Holy Koran, which says the Moorish Science Temple of America by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Okay. So I have some questions because I have heard Moors saying that they are indigenous to America or talk about the sovereignty status, and they don't necessarily identify with the African identity or being African. Now, there's a few Moors that actually do, that actually know the history, that actually identify with their African descent, but the rest of them, they come and they tell people that we're not African descent, we're indigenous to America and all this other stuff. So I just got some questions. And I won't take too much of the time. I just want to know. Just want to know. Okay. Now watch this. This is from Noble Drew Ali himself. Now I'm going to read some of the section in this book. I want to start with the concept about the divine origin of the Asiatic nations. So Noble Drew Ali put on here, he said, the key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. The Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca. Why you guys never discussed that? But let's continue. And it goes on to say the Egyptian, who were the Hamites and of a direct descendants of the Mizraim, the Arabians, the seed of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese. Hmm. And then it's also said the Hindus of India, the descendant of the ancient Canaanites, Hittites, and Moabites from the land of Canaan. This is what Noble Drew Ali said now. And he said the Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America, the Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America, Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans in South America. Okay. He said Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador in Central America, etc. All of these are Muslim. The Turks are the true descendant of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca. Beginning from the Muhammad the First, the founder of the uniting of Islam by the command of the great universal God Allah. Now, I just want to know, how come Noble Drew Ali acknowledged all the other nations? He acknowledged the Chinese, the Japanese, according to this information here. And he said that the Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca. That's what Noble Drew Ali said. He said it in this book right here. But that's not the part. And so he talked about the beginning of Christianity, which I think is quite interesting. He said the foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nation founded the first church of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. This is Noble Drew Ali's word. Then he goes on to say, seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad the First came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth. I just want to know, have you guys ever read that closely? Have you guys read this book right here? very closely. That's all I want to know. And then he goes on to say, let's see. He says, the lamb is the poor people, the lion is the rulers and the rich, and through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. All right. So it says Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. He spoke on Africa. And he said the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. So it sounds like to me he using biblical concept in the Quran, right? And then he put now as far as nationality wise, this is what he had to say. So Noble Drew Ali said that according to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or color race attached to the human family because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of human race, descendant of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. That's what he said about the human race. So and he got that part right because technically speaking, there is no concept of race. Okay, that's a social construct. The only race there is a human race. So he does acknowledge that the human race came up out of Africa by the way of the Canaanites. That's what he say. But he does acknowledge the part about Africa. So I just want to know, have you guys actually read the Quran? And are you guys truly following Noble Drew Ali? And where did he talk about sovereignty status or status correction? Where did he say that that you guys are the indigenous people of America? I just want to know. I'm just asking. Just asking. Hmm. And he said, the time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Though, I mean, through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honor not the creed and principle of their forefathers. Then he says that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and color was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honor not the principle of their mother and father and strayed after the gods of Europe of whom they knew nothing. Now, the part that he said that they are of Moorish descent, where did the Moors originally come from? Because the Moors originally came from Africa. Okay, they was located in the area where it's called Maghreb. All right, which is the northwestern part of Africa. Now he does mention Asiatic multiple times. All right. Now, this is the part right here. It says, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Any subordinated temple that desired to receive a charter, the prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc. And that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendant of Africa there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for redemption of the sons of men under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's all I want to know. Excuse me, y'all. That's all I want to know. I'm just asking. I'm just asking if that's too much to ask. And he said, we as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into families of the pale skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. So he acknowledged, he said, we as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa. We as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa. But y'all say that y'all didn't come from Africa. But he said that y'all are the descendants of those who inhabited of Africa, according to this book right here. So I just want to know. He said, we as a clean, pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa. I just want to know. So if you guys can leave a comment down at the bottom of the page, that'd be great. But this is coming from the book of the Holy Koran by the Moorish Temple of America. This is the book. So I just have some questions regarding to the information here. So are you guys coming up with different teachings that's not correlating to this book? I just want to know. All right. So until then, I will be talking to you guys later. Peace and power and elevation be to all of you. I hope you guys have a good one, and until next time.